In this video, I want to have a look at working with fractions. So we're going to start off by looking at adding and subtracting fractions. And the thing we need to remember about that is we can only add and subtract fractions if they have a common denominator. So let's have a look at a few examples. So our first example, we'll have 2/5 plus 4 over 15. So we need them to have a common denominator. So we need to find the lowest common multiple of 5 and 15, which will be 15. So we're going to make both those fractions have a denominator of 15. So this second fraction here already has a denominator of 15, so that's just going to stay the same. But this one, to turn that 5 into a 15, we'd have to multiply by 3. So we're going to have to do the same thing to the numerator as well. So we'll times that 2 by 3, and we'll end up with 6. So now we've got 6 over 15 plus 4 over 15 will give us 10 over 15. So we've just added the numerators, 15. And then we need to always simplify our fractions down if we can. So 10 and 15, we can divide them both by 5, and we'd end up with 2 over 3. All right, let's have a look at one more example. So if we had 5 over 6 minus 5 over 9, again, we need them to have a common denominator. So the lowest common multiple of 6 and 9 is going to be 18. So we want them both to have a denominator of 18. So to turn that 6 into an 18, we'd have to multiply by 3. We'll do the same thing to the top. So we'd end up with 15 over 18. And to turn the 9 into an 18, we'd multiply by 2. So we do the same thing to the numerator as well, and we'll end up with 10. So now we've got 15 over 18 minus 10 over 18, which will give us 5 over 18. Okay, so now we'll look at multiplying fractions. When we're multiplying them, we multiply the numerators and we multiply the denominators. So we'll have a look at an example. If we had 3 over 5 times 4 over 7. So we're going to multiply the numerators, so 3 times 4 gives us 12, and 5 times 7 gives us 35. Then we look and see if we can simplify that. There's no common factors of 12 and 35, so that's it. That's our answer for that one. Our last operation is dividing. So instead of dividing by a fraction, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So if we have a look at our first example, if we have 5 over 8 divided by 2/3. So instead of dividing by 2/3, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which means we're going to flip this fraction upside down. So we're going to have 5 over 8 times 3 over 2. And now it's just like a multiplication question. So we're going to go 5 times 3 is 15, and 8 times 2 is 16. All right, let's have a look at a second one. If we have a half divided by 4. So again, instead of dividing by 4, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply. If we were to write 4 as a fraction, we'd write it as 4 over 1, which means its reciprocal is 1 over 4, or a quarter. And again, now it's just a multiplication, so that would give us 1 over 8. Right, one last example. If we had 7 over 10 divided by 2.5. So the first thing we want to do here, if we've got a mixed numeral, is convert it into an improper fraction. We're going to have 7 over 10 divided by, so 2.5, to turn that into an improper fraction, we're going to go 2 times the denominator, so 2 times 2 is 4, plus the 1 on the top gives us 5, it'd be 5 over 2. Now we can do the same process we were doing earlier, so we're going to flip that second fraction and multiply. So we've got 7/10 times 2 over 5. 7 times 2 is 14, and 10 times 5 is 50. And then always remember to simplify if we can. We can divide both those numbers by 2. So we'll end up with a final answer of 7 over 25. And that's it. That's how we work with the 4 operations with fractions.